Punishing kids is really to make something unpleasant happen to them or to prevent them from experiencing something pleasant with the goal of changing the future behaviors. What the punisher is really doing is making our kids suffer to teach them a lesson. And so what our kids do is they start to be motivated by fear. They are motivated by external reasons, what's going to be taken away, what's going to happen to them. And that means that they are not driven by intrinsic motivation, which is the motivation to do the right thing. They're just scared of doing the wrong thing. And so it's really kind of the opposite of what we want for our kids instead. Hi, it's Robbin McManne here. I'm a certified parenting coach, parenting expert, and I want to talk to you about punishments. Do you think it's possible to raise your kids without punishments? Well, I'm taking a look at how punishments unintentionally backfire, why we keep using them, and what we can do instead. By the time you're done this video, you're going to have some ideas of what you can do instead, and you'll really understand why using punishments isn't really the best strategy. While you're here, please just give this video a like and also subscribe, because I am bringing you videos every week that will help you with all areas of your parenting, from toddlers to teens. I really am focused on helping you with those difficult, strong-willed, oppositional kiddos that might be neurodiverse. That is my experience in my own family, and it's really what I specialize in my work. So if you are a working mom, I can really relate to you, because I was a working mom and have been a working mom through my entire journey of parenting. And I understand the stress that comes with working and having the pressures of work, and oftentimes feeling confident, knowing the answer, having people come to you and look to you at work. But then when you come home, it's not the same. You don't feel as in control. You don't feel as powerful. People do not respect you and listen to you. And so I want to invite you, if this sounds like you, to join a group that I have on Facebook. It's called Working Moms with Strong-Willed Kids, and you are invited to join us. It's a great community where we all come together as like-minded moms to really share and care with each other about what we're facing, what we're going through. So you can see the link just below here in the description, and I'd love for you to join. Here is a comment from one of the followers that I have. This is Cassie, and she said, Robbin has been incredibly insightful in her coaching. Her book, The Yelling Cure, was my gateway drug into her work, and I'm glad it was. Her advice has been practical and not only meshes with my intuitive sense of how I want to gently, positively, firmly, and truly lovingly parent, but it's also backed in science, which is easier for my husband's understanding and for his buy-in as well. That's huge, right? We have gone from me feeling intense waves of rage followed by guilt in my parenting to identifying my triggers and responding well and confidently to my children's behavior, essentially helping me deal with my parental triggers and literally stopping meltdowns in their tracks. There have been a handful of grocery store meltdowns that I now have handled and felt other parents and grandparents' gazes applauding what was going on. And my 4-year-old son demonstrates empathy, care, and emotional intelligence appropriately, and quite frankly, more so than adults do. Thank you, Robbin. Well, this is what I love to do, and I'm so grateful to people like Cassie who are in my community who are doing the work. It means the world to me. So let's talk about punishments. Let's talk about what they do and how they often miss the mark. So what they really do is they teach our kids and give them the message that they are only loved and lovable when they please us, when they impress us. Punishing kids is really to make something unpleasant happen to them or to prevent them from experiencing something pleasant with the goal of changing the future behavior. So the next time you think that you want to do that thing, well, you're going to think about the punishment that I did today that's going to help you to not do it next time. What the punisher is really doing is making our kids suffer to teach them a lesson. And this communicates a message of distrust. Like, I don't trust that you're going to do the right thing unless I put some weight on it and scare you with punishment. And so, what our kids do is they start to be motivated by fear. They are motivated by external reasons, what's going to be taken away, what's going to happen to them. And that means that they are not driven by intrinsic motivation, which is the motivation to do the right thing. They're just scared of doing the wrong thing. And so it's really kind of the opposite of what we want for our kids. Instead, what we should be asking is, how likely is it that intentionally making children unhappy will prove to be beneficial in the long run? And if punishment is so effective, how come I have to keep doing it to my child over and over again? Think about those questions. And tell me, what is the thing that happens in your family with your kids that drives you crazy that you have to keep punishing over and over and over again? And if you are punishing it over and over again, are you open to a different strategy? So tell me what goes on and what you keep punishing over and over again, and what that punishment is. Is it taking away? Is it withdrawing love? Is it hurting them, talking to them with no love in your voice? What is it that you do? And look, there's no judgment here. I want you to know that we don't know what we don't know. And what we do know as a group of parenting experts, as a group of psychologists that work together and researchers, we know that in past research from decades ago and even more current research, that punishment doesn't work to change the behavior in the long run. It just simply doesn't work. And it gives our kids all the wrong messages. So let's do this a different way. I want to talk a little bit about what punishment does that really misses the mark. So if you look at punishment, it causes anger in your child because it emphasizes their powerlessness. Also, it models the use of power. We are showing them that we have power over them and we're willing to use it to make them obey. But modeling that is something they are going to do back, because our kids don't do what we say, they do what we do, right? And so it gives them a perfect example for how to use power over somebody in a situation where they're unhappy. And also it provides a model for power over and also for expressing hostility. We don't want our kids to learn that. It also eventually loses its effectiveness. Your power will ebb over your child. Then what? Then what do? Eventually, your kids will be deaf to, you're grounded, or I'm taking your phone away, or you can't do this. They'll just be like, no, I can do whatever I want. And it's in many cases, they're right. As they get older, they have jobs, they pay for their own things, they have autonomy, and you have never learned how to influence your kids. It's always just been power over. I'll take away what I gave you, or I will hurt you in some way. And that doesn't work when they get to an age where they have their own ability and freedom to do things on their own. And that means the relationship isn't good because they won't come to you. Another really important thing about punishment is it actually distracts from the actual issue, the issue that you didn't like to begin with. So you end up focusing on the punishment, not what they did and should have done instead, or could do differently next time. We just have the behavior here and we add punishment on top of it when we really want to see what's driving the behavior, which is underneath. You're actually further and further away from the solution. And oftentimes what our kids focus on is you and how mean you are, how unfair you are, how you don't understand. And that isn't the issue we want them to focus on. We want them to focus on them, what they did and what they should have done instead, and what they can do better next time. And really, one of the most important things that punishment does that we don't want is that it creates disconnection in the relationship between parent and child. There is a distrust. There is a sense of, well, you're there for me in my darkest times, in the times where I'm hurt or I've done something wrong or I've made a mistake, when I need somebody to rely on and turn to and trust. But sometimes also that person talks to me and treats me with no love, doesn't seem to love me unconditionally, doesn't even want to listen to my side of things. How do I know that when I go to them, that they're going to be the trusted ally that I need right now? And so your kids will turn to other people, their friends, other adults, and you want them to turn to you. So trying something different, using a different technique and a different strategy really brings your child closer, and communication and cooperation is so much easier to get. Now, when our kids have behavior that we don't like, we punish the behavior, but we lose the opportunity to teach them. It's just like what I said. We don't teach them what they should have done or what they can do next time. And we also miss the opportunity to ask why. How come you threw that across the room? How come you don't want to do what I asked? What's going on? Here's what I know for sure. There are very rarely things that happen in daily life with your kids that you can't work out, that you can't find some kind of a win-win together. Now, one of the things that you really need to understand is that our kids aren't trying to be bad. Their behavior is communicating something that's letting you know that there's something missing for them. And remember, behavior is always your child communicating that they have a need that isn't getting met, a feeling that's unvalidated, or they don't have a skill to do better yet. And so let's talk about their 8 core basic needs. And these aren't frivolous needs, these are core basic human needs. They are the needs for unconditional love, love that is theirs, that they don't have to earn, that is always there for them. They have the need for empathy, for you just to be able to put yourself in their shoes and see the situation the way they must see it. Also for connection, deep connection with you and family, but also other trusted adults and friends. They also have a need for affection, to have lovies and cuddles. They really need that physical loving touch. They also have a need for appreciation, to know that they're valuable, to know that they can be appreciated just for being them, that they don't have to earn it, they don't have to hustle for it, that they are just valuable and worthy just by being them. They also have a deep need for attention. We all need attention in on different levels, and our kids need attention, and we often just blame them, shame them, criticize them for needing attention. Oh, they're just trying to get attention. Oh, she's just doing that for attention. Yeah, they might be. And that's your call to action, to say, you know what? I think I need to spend some time with my kiddo. They do need attention. And then they also need independence and growth. They need the space to explore the world around them, make mistakes, fall short, fall flat on their face, and know that you're always there to be on their team, to help them to dust themselves off and get right back in there, and to be a soft place as well. But they also need the space to grow so that they can be independent from you as well. So not helicoptering over them, that they can do things on their own. And that gives them the confidence to be able to do things as they grow and evolve and develop. So let me ask you, what's missing for your child when they do something that you don't like? Is it a need? Is it a feeling? Is it just that they don't have a skill to do better yet? Could it be that what they really do need is attention? Or maybe they need connection with you. Maybe they need to talk to you and have you listen to them, which means you give them attention and your presence. And when you listen to your kids, you give them not only unconditional love, you give them connection, attention. You could also add in affection by holding their hand or rubbing their shoulder or their back. You can actually tick a lot of boxes with just listening on its own. But what I really want you to do is, when your child has behavior you don't like, instead of reaching for that knee-jerk reaction, which is to punish, can you put yourself in a place of curiosity instead? Can you be curious and just take sort of a step back and say, what really is going on right now? How come? I didn't expect you to react like that. What's going on? Then go to your child and say, hey, it looks like you must be so blank, so confused, so nervous, so flustered, so frustrated. And naming that feeling really does help. I want to give you an example of one of the clients that I spoke to yesterday that I have. Her name is Tanis, and we spoke about how wild her kids are. They are really wild at bedtime. And she also says it's like herding cats to get them out the door at any time to get their shoes on and get their jackets on. And I completely get it. I know it's tough, and she's a solo parent, so she's doing it all on her own. And when we talked yesterday, she said, Robbin, what I need help with is consequences. I need to know that when they're horsing around at bedtime, that I don't know if I should take away a book. I don't know if I should take something away in the morning. Like, what should I do? I said, okay. And then before I was able to even answer her, she said, but the thing is I don't really want to take a book away or anything like that because I actually really love reading books with them. And so that doesn't make any sense to me that we would take away something that actually breeds connection, builds connection, and take that away because they really essentially are just being kids. So what I said to her is, you don't need punishments, you don't need consequences, you just need to do things a little differently. So we focused on bedtime at first. And I said, okay, what are you doing when they're going wild? And she said, I'm usually getting stuff ready. I'm usually getting the bed ready, getting the books out, laying out their jammies. And I tell them, okay, it's time for you to go wash your face and brush your teeth and go to the bathroom. Well, it ends up being crazy town in the bathroom because they're together and left to their own devices. The two of them fight, and they're little. So I said to her, okay, here's what we're going to do instead. You're going to get everything ready first that you need to get ready so that when it's time for them to get into the bathroom and brush their teeth and wash their face and go to the bathroom, you're going to be with them every step of the way. I said to her also that my kids didn't get along at this age very well, and they really wanted to push each other's buttons. So I made sure that I separated my kids. I always say that I want to run a really tight ship at bedtime because sleep is important to me. It is important that my kids get to bed and get sleep. So I really wanted to minimize that horsing around. It doesn't mean that there wasn't space for me to put some extra time in or be a little bit silly too, but I really wanted to make sure that we didn't spiral into fighting. So I encouraged her to take them in separately, and it's much easier to sort of divide and conquer. So I told her to do that and to also stay with them every step of the way. And I said the same thing with getting out the door. I said, look, in my house, we have the front door, we have the back door, and we have the back door, which goes into the garage. The back door goes into the backyard. And we go through all of these doors. And sometimes our kids come in the front door, sometimes they come in the back door. And so shoes can be in different places. And instead of calling kids to come get their shoes on and then say, like, where are your shoes? Go get your shoes. How come you never have your shoes? How come it takes so much time to get ready? Oh, where's your jacket? How come you never have your stuff ready? How come you never put it away when I tell you to put it away, where I tell you to put it away? I said, no, they just need your help right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to get all of that stuff ready. When you tell them to go get their shoes and jacket on, you are not going to be doing a bunch of stuff to get yourself ready. You're going to already have everything ready. You're going to make sure the shoes that are at the front door are at the back door if that's where they need to be. You're going to have the jacket ready. And all you are going to do is say, okay, sweetheart. Okay, love bug. Come on. It's time to go. Let me take you to your shoes. Let me help you do them up if we need to. Let me help you with your jacket if you need me to. It's not a time for all of that. We just want to get out of the house peacefully. And last night, at 9:44, I received this text from her. She said, thank you for our talk today. I prepped bedtime stuff, did teeth together, and was all set for everything before calling them tonight. And it was such a peaceful end to the night. Note to self, do this always. And I said, yay, thank you so much for telling me, because for me, I am so thrilled when I hear that parents are successful with what advice I give them. And she just said, thank you for caring for me and my two, which is just makes my heart so happy. So I just want you to know this works. There is proof that it works. And I want you to do this as well. One last piece of advice that I want to give you is to use if and then. The next time your child does something that you don't like, or they are struggling with something, I want you to use the if then, which means that if this happens, then I will do this. And so you can use that with your kids in difficult situations to get them thinking ahead to what they can do instead. using if then. So if my friend isn't nice to me at school, instead of hitting them or kicking them or pulling their hair, I will go and tell my teacher. So if my friend is not nice to me, then I will go and tell my teacher. It gets us all thinking ahead to solutions instead of dealing with problems in a way that doesn't help. Now, here is what I want you to do next. There's a playlist here that you can download to help you with all of the different behaviors that maybe you've been punishing. I have a lot more to say about this, and there's a lot more behaviors that I break down. I do also want to invite you to take one of my courses. It's called Alternatives to Punishment, and I walk through why punishments don't work, but also how they create disconnection in your relationship and actually how that perpetuates the cycle of misbehavior. And so what you can do is you can use the code SAVE10 and you can save $10 on my course. And you'll find the details in the description below. And I just really want to invite you to take that, and it will really help you. And it is in the time that it takes you to watch Frozen again, you will have some new strategies at your fingertips. And every one of my courses comes with a guide as well. So you can print that out and have those strategies at your fingertips. And they also come as a video and an audio, so you can listen to it like it's a podcast as well. All right. I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your interest in doing something different than punishments, because they really, truly don't work. They aren't necessary. And there is a better way that leads to more connection and more cooperation, all while helping you to feel more confident as a parent. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.